Hello watch lovers! Now, a common watch collecting woe is seeing a watch that you absolutely adore. It's just the thing you've been looking for. You love the style, the price is just right, and it's your favourite colour and everything. And then you find out the size, and it's either too big or too small. Happens all the time. Well, today we'll be looking at 10 fitting watches that are just right. Models that cater for all wrist sizes so nobody has to miss out, from entry-level pieces to high-end heavy hitters. So let's just dive right into it. If you're looking to buy, sell or exchange a luxury watch, visit watchfinder.com. So starting with the immensely popular Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. So Tissot hit a home run into the back of the net with this redesign of a 70s model from the brand's back catalogue, with aesthetic cues that strongly allude to other popular models from the 1970s, namely the Royal Oak from Audemars Piguet, with its boxy case and integrated bracelet along with the waffle textured dial. But unlike the Royal Oak, the PRX is affordable, available to buy immediately, and thanks to a number of size options is highly wearable and accessible to all. Hurrah! Now the PRX comes in the standard 40mm case size, but due to its integratedness, that may wear too large for some, in which case, you can go for the 35mm case size, which is an identical watch but just 12.5% smaller, so the only difference is maths. Both variations come with a slimline profile and a quality satin finish, contrasted poppingly against the polished edges and bezel. Inside is the mechanical Powermatic 80 caliber with over 3 days of power reserve, or you can opt for the more affordable quartz models instead. And there's heaps of dial colours and style variations to choose from, like full yellow gold PVD or two-tone steel and gold, plus there's a larger chronograph version and a digital version. All really solid options for the money, as is the PRX overall. Effortlessly stylish and a modern classic, perfect for any wrist. Next we have a watch brand that is so awesome it was actually sued by Lewis Hamilton for being too good. Or it might have been a pathetic claim at trademark infringement. Who knows? Anyway, if there's any watch that's in danger of litigation for being too cool, then it's this one, the Hamilton Khaki Aviation Pilot Pioneer. This is another reinterpretation of a 70s model, but this time of a vintage pilot's watch produced for the British Royal Air Force. So you're getting a really rugged and reliable military watch with the Swiss mechanical H50 caliber, all for under £1,000. And thanks to its vintage styling, its pleasing cushion-shaped case is only 36mm wide, and its slightly smaller and historically faithful proportions will look great on any wrist. With its warmly accented dial pattern and casual NATO strap, this is a characterful and versatile piece that will look great on anyone. Now, some people say nostalgia is not what it used to be, but here we have yet another tribute watch, this time from the 60s. Enter the Longines Legend Diver. Based upon an iconic watch from the brand's long and rich history, this is a slightly unconventional approach to the ubiquitous diver's watch, with the unique look inspired by the compressor style of diver, with the jewel crowns and an internal rotating 60-minute bezel. There are also other handsome touches like the gradient lacquer dial with arrow hands and the smooth curves of the domed box crystal. This watch has a strong visual impact, and unlike most other dive watches that only come in that one size known as chunky, the Legend Diver is available in a variety of case sizes, 42mm and 36mm, and the recently added Just Right edition of 39mm. Longines is excellently demonstrating how to cater to the watch buying public's wishes, and this watch is a prime example. With colourways and strap options to fit all tastes, it's easy for any enthusiast to experience this lovely heritage piece. So with Rolex still cruising comfortably above the stratus, remaining out of reach for most wristwatch enjoyers, its sister brand Tudor, despite also soaring in popularity, remains relatively attainable. And this watch here, the Tudor Black Bay, is a signature timepiece with universal appeal and a great alternative to the Rolex Submariner. With all the visual hallmarks of a classic dive watch, with great unity and balance to the design, a satin finished rotating bezel and a softly textured dial, and those trademark Tudor cornflake hands, and also being an incredible value proposition as well. It's extremely well built to the exacting standards required to attain chronometer certification, with the regular Black Bay even being METAS certified now. The Black Bay family of watches is Tudor's most recognisable properties, with a broad range of offerings to satisfy anyone. The Tudor Black Bay 58 is so hot right now, coming in at a tidy 39mm case size, but if you need bigger, then there's the regular 41mm, and then there's the smaller 37mm Black Bay 54. And with many newer models featuring the T-fit clasp with rapid adjustment system, Tudor is covering all your bases in style. This is an iconic watch made to a high standard and with great brand recognition. Swiss luxury never felt so possible. Now here we have a Grand Seiko that is not limited, and nor is it tied to any seasonal phenomenon, and as such it doesn't feature an intricately patterned dial depicting a delicate spray of twigs or portraying the sound of fog or what have you. Instead, it gets a velvety, smooth cream coloured dial that, despite its simplicity, feels quite striking. And it's still a Grand Seiko through and through, with a quality of finish to rival even Patek Philippe, with diamond-cut hands and indexes and the coveted distortion-free Zaratsu polishing across the case. Look at the gleam on that. That, my friends, is the unmistakable gleam of quality. And luckily, you'll be pleased to hear it's actually one of Grand Seiko's more affordable mechanical watches, and thanks to the slimline caliber 9S64 inside, the curving profile of the dial and hands and sapphire crystal, and the ergonomically shaped lugs, it's also one of the most comfortable Grand Seikos too. It comes in a slightly smaller case size of 37.3mm, but it wears a little larger, and due to its dressy aesthetic, it wouldn't look out of place on a larger wrist as well. So Grand Seiko are shrewdly threading the needle between big and small, and this watch comes out at a happy medium. But ultimately, it's the purity and clarity of design of this watch that make it appear effortlessly cool on anyone who wears it. This is a Rolex Oyster Perpetual, with an appearance so timeless it's as if it's always been around, just suddenly appearing at the dawn of man like a tiny 904L steel monolith, startling a pack of apes. That's to say, it's an iconic Rolex watch. With a solid construction built for comfort and everyday use, the simple time-only dial is exquisitely finished with the signature blocky hour markers, coupled with the perfect fit of the 3-link Oyster bracelet. And inside is a solid chronometer-rated movement, and it's available in a butt-ton of colours and sizes, enough to suit everyone. You've got 28mm, 41mm, 36mm, you name it, 31mm, 34mm, I could go on. Oh no, that's it. Still though, that is a lot. And the colours too, take your pick. You got Tiffany blue, Russell red, Griselda green, yellow, John. Or why not all of them at once, please? With the celebration motif dial. Now, whatever your thoughts on Rolex, it's hard to deny the appeal of the Oyster Perpetual. Sporty, contemporary and uncomplicated, it's just the optimal watch. Next, we have a simple, straightforward looking watch, but it houses a unique movement with an uncommon feature. This is the Geophysic True Second from Jaeger-LeCoultre. Often referred to as the watchmaker's watchmaker, with their pioneering spirit, JLC are constantly creating innovative and unique complications, each one even more unique than the next. You heard me. And this Geophysic True Second is a chronometer-rated watch housing the caliber 770, which features JLC's special Gyro-Lab balance. That's a TIE Fighter-shaped balance wheel that's lighter and reduces friction for increased precision. But that's not the watch's main quirk. It also features a deadbeat seconds function. Now, deadbeat second is not what pushy parents call their kids if they don't place first in spelling bees. No, the deadbeat second is a mechanism that reduces the high beat of a mechanical second down to just 1 tick per second. Now, back in the olden days, this was useful for accurate time setting, but frankly now it's just a cool feature, and a guaranteed conversation starter, if that's your thing. All said, overall, this is a watch that's very practical and very wearable, and when it comes to proportions, this watch is just right. It's a lovely diameter of 39.6mm and a relatively slim 12mm thickness, with a gently sloping case and bezel and short tapering lugs that make it a very comfortable watch. It's a classic looking timepiece with an understated dial and wearable dimensions and a unique movement from a brand famous for their unique movements. What's not to love? Now, what if you want something from Omega that's a little different? Something outside the mainstream perhaps, something that's great value, and something that doesn't sit at Omega's usual, ever so slightly unreasonable 42mm case sizing. Well, good news everyone, it's the Constellation Globemaster. With its charming vintage good looks and fastidious details, like the pie pan dial with its interesting geometry resembling an upturned baking dish with a subtle luster and non-stick texture, and it's also got a fluted bezel just like a Rolex, and inside is a METAS certified caliber featuring Omega's very cool and very clever coaxial escapement, and of course you get all the glory of owning an Omega. But best of all is its size that makes it easily wearable by anyone, with the Globemaster date sized at a sweet 39mm, and then for folks who need something a bit larger, there's the 41mm Globemaster annual calendar, which of course uses that extra few millimeters to add an annual calendar, which takes into consideration the differing days in a month. Nice. Both variations sit smaller than their famous cousins, the Moonwatch and Seamaster 300, which are both 42mm, so if you'd love an Omega but you're put off by the measurements, why not give the Globemaster a little look-see? Now, if you want something that's truly iconic, a sports watch from one of the Holy Trinity top 3 watchmakers in the world, an instantly recognisable statement piece, and something that's feasibly wearable without weighing down your wrist, then what about the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak? Yes, mate. Now, you might be thinking, why not the Nautilus from Patek Philippe, or better yet, the Overseas from Vacheron Constantin? Well, the Overseas is arguably the best looking of the top 3 sports watches, sure, but when it comes to wearability, it's a teensy bit too big at 41mm, and it even wears a little larger thanks to its integrated design. The Nautilus, meanwhile, has been pushed up in price by extremely high demand. And yes, that is also true of the Royal Oak as well, but out of the 3, the Royal Oak is the more important to the watchmaking world. It's one of the most iconic watches ever made, with Gerald Genter's signature design essentially saving watchmaking. And since Audemars Piguet's homogenisation of their catalogue, with a quadrupling down on the Royal Oak model, it's available in a huge range of sizes and styles. So you too can get a slice of history on your wrist in any flavour you choose. And finally, we have the Patek Philippe World Time 5131J. Now, this might not be everyone's cup of Swiss cheese, but due to its sizing, it's a universally wearable watch. And universe is the key word here because intricately enamelled onto the dial is the entire universe. Well, not the entire universe, but the entire world. Well, not even the entire world, just mainly the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, so a map of the entire world has been painstakingly hand-painted onto the dial, with the contours of the continents outlined in shaped gold wire. And all of this is in support of the World Timer complication that allows the wearer to read the time from any of the 24 major time zones at the push of a button. It comes in a solid yellow gold case, resplendent with all the elegant stylings you've come to expect from Patek Philippe. Now, given all that, it's fair to expect this thing, with its complexity and detail, to be north of 40mm, and thus unwearable for a lot of people. But happily, it isn't. At 39.5mm and with a slim 10mm thickness, this is a svelte and slender watch, and it gives everyone a chance to wear a piece of high art on their wrist. But rather unhappily, this thing will set you back around £90,000 pre-owned. So that's your Christmas and birthday presents combined for the next few years. Well, there you go. There we have 10 watches that any wrist can wear. And if you have any questions about your next watch, please post them down in the comments. And when you're on the lookout for your next pre-owned luxury watch, check out watchfinder.com. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.